Coming up this week, off-screen,
Kong returns as we head to Skull Island.
Paul Verhoeven introduces us to Elle.
And Haitian Sandra Oh have a catfight.
Sex and romance get deadly with The Love Witch.
Joan Collins and Pauline Collins have the time of their lives.
The bad boy of ballet gets a biography with Dancer.
And Pierce Brosnan faces the dark side of IT.
All those to come and more, off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. 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 With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off-Screen, I'm Vancott.
I'm Case Allen.
You're not in a great way this week, are you, Case? You're not getting a bit under the weather.
Yeah, I've got a smashing headache. Not smashing as in good, smashing as in bad.
Well, before we start off with the film news then, I'm going to give you some news that I know you don't have, because I'm going to hope this cheers you up, because I know something about you now that you don't know about yourself.
So that makes you and my wife privy to information that I don't know about me.
Exactly. But what your wife doesn't even know is that you are now an award-nominated film critic.
Really?
You are indeed. You are actually an award-nominated critic.
Nominated by who? And for what? And
Nominated
why? And
for
when?
the British Podcast Awards, sir. We have been nominated for the first inaugural British Podcast Awards. See how much happier you seem now?
No way.
Yes.
That is exciting news.
Totally true, yeah.
Congratulations to you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm half of this as well, aren't I?
Yeah. Wow,
yes.
that is exciting news.
We have been nominated in the TV, film and books category for the British Podcast Awards. We are also nominated for the Listener Choice Award, where the listeners actually get to vote as well. So we have no control whatsoever about whether or not we win the TV, film and books category, but we can egg people on to go to BritishPodcastAwards.com, and you can vote for your favourite podcast in there. Please pick us. And
yeah, we're nice people.
We're nice.
We're good.
We dress well and have elegant facial hair. And
I'm a little bit disappointed about the Podcast Awards. It isn't called the Podcasties.
I think there's a Poddies.
A Poddies.
There is the Poddies.
Amazing.
The Poddies is an award thing. But yes, BritishPodcastAwards.com. Please give us your vote. There is, by the way, an off-screen, which looks nothing like ours. We're all one word. So off-screen, one word.
Yes.
You just type us into the search thing and then you vote. You need to enter your email address and your name. That's it.
I might. Can I vote for myself?
You can vote for yourself. I voted for us.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and all our artwork now features the Podcast Award branding. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, that made your day. You are now award nominated.
Yes, he did. Yeah, fantastic. Wow, it's the first time I think I've ever been nominated for an award. Other than, the 2 Grammys, but nobody counts those, do it?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because Beyonce made the greatest video of all time. So.
Yeah. I'm waiting for our acceptance speech where Kanye just pops up.
Incidentally, if we become finalists, we'll have to actually consider going to the award ceremony.
Are you thinking the orange and blue suits from Dumb and Dumber?
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I had that as an option, and I also had the Trey Parker and Matt Stone at the Oscars.
Oh, when they're wearing the dresses.
When they're wearing the dresses.
Yeah, everyone does like Gwyneth Paltrow and...
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So now that we've had the happy news, onto some film news then, Mr. Allen.
And I will continue with not even happy news, but I will continue with a happy trend.
Okay.
David Harbour is an actor I really, really like.
I
him
do
a
as
lot.
well. What do you like him from, out of interest?
Obviously Stranger Things. I feel like that's the one.
That's the biggie.
That's the big one right now, but it's kind of like... Because he was always sort of like one of those guys.
That guy
he's
from that
he's
thing.
that guy. Yeah, and he's been that guy for about 12 years.
I have him from The Newsroom. He plays Elliot in The Newsroom.
Newsroom and Black Mass he was in recently.
Equalizer?
Just a bunch of things. Equalizer was really good in. Yeah, he is in talks to be Cable.
Is he actually in talks? Is he confirmed to be in talks?
He's confirmed to be in talks, which is... I mean, this is just mad, isn't it? Just how long it has taken to cast this character. We thought it was going to be Pierce Brosnan. Russell Crowe popped up last week.
Yeah. And I'm happy. If it's David Harbour, I'm really happy about that.
I'd be happy for all three, to be honest.
Did you see the Deadpool 2 teaser?
Yeah. I did indeed. I did not see it in front of Logan, because I think that's just in the States where it's in front of Logan. But I saw it online. It debuted online on Saturday or Sunday or one of the days this weekend.
Day ending in Y.
Day ending in Y. Yeah, a day where The Rock is making a film.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, but that's cool. I would be up for him being Cable.
Definitely. I think he's got the right sort of tonal temperament throughout all of his performances to pull it off.
Definitely, and he's the right height. You need someone who's got a bit of size on Ryan Reynolds.
That's true. Ryan Reynolds ain't exactly short.
He's not, no.
No.
But yeah, we need someone like David Harbour. Cool.
But, so speaking of matchups, then let's talk about Catfight real quick. This is really unlike anything you've seen, unless you saw Fist Fight recently, which it sort of encroaches on. So you only had Fist Fight for the boys, and it had a lot of gross out humour involved because obviously it's connected to Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny, and there's a lot of gross out humour that put a lot of people off. And I had a lot of conversations this week about how awful Fist Fight was, in which I had to stick up for it venomously. You now have you have Catfight, which is the indie movie version of Fist Fight. And it's with the girls. It's Sandra Oh and Anne Heche, right? The idea is they are former college friends. I'm not sure if they're roommates, but they're college friends. They sort of drifted apart whilst they were in college. They now meet and they're sort of in their 40s. They have a bit of a misunderstanding at a dinner party, and as you do, they wind up in a stairwell beating each other to a pulp. And
as you do.
And this sets in motion this conflict, this rivalry that lasts for years and goes into incredibly dark, depraved, and slightly funny places that involves comas, deaths, bankruptcies, everything you can imagine. We have a clip of how this misunderstanding basically comes about.
It's cool. Which one is he?
He's, see those two guys by the couch?
Yeah.
He's a tall, handsome one.
For real? Mm-hmm. Wow. I thought those guys were gay. They were acting so gay. It was like gay. They were like,
Why would you think that?
no, nothing. I'm kidding. He's great. He's so lovely.
Yeah, my husband's not gay.
No, I know.
We have a beautiful son.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't get offended. I know. It was a joke. He's really handsome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what about you? Are you married? Oh, no, wait.
No.
Yes, you're right. Because you're gay, right?
Yeah, you remembered, huh?
Mm-hmm. Of course I remembered.
So Sandra Oh, do you know Sandra Oh from anything really?
Yeah, she is in Grey's Anatomy and Sideways.
That was what I was going to say. Yeah, most people obviously know her from Grey's Anatomy. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, so I don't.
Neither do I, but I know her from Sideways. I know Anne Heche from the remake of Psycho.
There's a sort of typecasting that all actors have, as you know. I mean, when we talked about David Harbour a minute ago, we said that sort of that tone that he always has and everything he does. Anne Heche had a thing in the late 90s when she was turning up in comedies, and she was always the nagging, shrill one. And Sandra Oh, obviously, through what I've seen of Grey's Anatomy and in other things like Sideways, etc., she tends to be quite a stoic character. So what you have here are two actors who are really trying to play on that. And you've got a script. I'm trying to remember the name of the Turkish director behind it. It is Ona Turkel. And he's come up with this way that they can absolutely explode their own self-image. What you've got is a film that really tries to explore the lasting consequences of violence, but do it in a dramedy way. It is so indie-friendly. It is so comedically charged. And yet, at the same time, just when it's really, really working, they add these weird little cartoonish elements that take you out of it completely. So there's a character in there called Ariel. What's her name? Ariel. It begins with V. Cavusi. Ariel Cavusi, who has this sort of babyish voice. She's Anne Heche's sidekick, her put-upon assistant, and she's just terrible to witness. She's just an absolute chore to sit through. And then at the end of it all, you've got these fights as well. Obviously, the whole film revolves around these three massive brawls they have. And they are brutal, and they are bloody, and they are hyper-violent, but they're also sort of gritty and real. And then on top of it all, they've added this cartoonish punch sound effect. You know, it used to get in like 80s action movies. And the problem is when you've got characters throwing punch after punch, like one per second for like 30 seconds straight, it's a bit much. And it ruins what otherwise is a really, really good dramedy. I was fascinated by it. I genuinely didn't expect anything of it. I loved it. I think you'll like it as well. I think you'll love the writing that's in there. But yeah, I really liked it. But I thought the cartoonishness, I thought Ariel Cavusi's character just took me right the hell out of it. So we should plug the podcast in the meanwhile, by the way.
Yeah, all right, let's do that.
Well, again, award nomination. We should probably plug it. But
I feel like we should have some kind of noise, but every time we mention that we'll be nominated, Should have some kind of
a gong.
A gong.
A gong.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll include an actual gong. So if you want the extended podcast edition of this show, which includes films we can't fit into the radio edit, which this week includes IT, it includes Dancer, it includes Time of Their Lives.
I couldn't think of it.
We're not getting awards for acting, are we?
No, not at all.
If you want those reviews and the moment of Cage and more film news and the parts where we genuinely get to curse and let loose, get off the chain a little bit.
I love to swear.
Who doesn't? Then you download the extended podcast.
I'll tell you who does. Logan.
He really does.
And Professor X. They love to swear.
Have you noticed, by the way, that there's a point in Logan at which the F-bomb is dropped in every single line that Logan comes out with for about half an hour?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, strange. And it's literally his first word, actually, is the F-bomb.
It is.
His first line of dialogue.
Yeah.
But yes, off-screen. You want the off-screen podcast, you want to go to Acast, you want to go to iTunes, you want to go to Deezer, TuneIn, just type in off-screen on there and download the extended podcast edition, and there's stuff after the end credits. It's like a Marvel movie, only it lasts about an hour.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. So, Mr. Allen, where to next then?
Let's scale the great cinematic mountain that is the UK box office top 10.
Indeed.
Number 10.
Fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs?
Or Fist Fight, as it's known in America.
Well, it's no Catfight, is it? No, actually, I don't know. They're very different, very, very different films. I liked Fist Fight very much, but I am now stunningly aware that there are a lot of people who don't. They all seem to be critics for some reason. But it's one of those, I think this is where that disconnect between critics and audiences come in, because critics were very, very down. I think audiences will like it. I mean, it's gone in at number 10, so obviously not that much.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's kind of like one of those frivolous comedies. Yeah. It's Charlie Day's fun.
It's like role
Ice
models.
Cube being annoyed, and Christina Hendricks is there, and she's always great.
She's the weirdest thing about it, actually. She kind of just walks around silently with a butterfly knife.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of that.
It makes gestures to people with a butterfly knife. Tracy Morgan and Gillian Bell, I thought, were the stars of this one for me, but I did really, really get into it. I laughed myself senseless, and I'm not going to apologise for that. It's a funny movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Number 9.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Jonathan Whittington the second.
Jonathan Wickerton.
Wickerton Esquire.
I liked John Wick. Sorry, chapter 2. I didn't love it the way I loved the first one, but I still to see that it is a very, very good action movie. As far as action sequels go, it's the best one Keanu Reeves is chucking out anytime soon. You've got to give him that. And you know what? It's nice to see Franco Nero turn up in a film for a change, until you get to The Time of Our Lives this week, and he turns up again, naked this time. And that'll really affect your day.
So if anything, I better stick around and listen to the podcast section. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, if anything's going to affect your day, it's a naked Franco Nero. But he's fully clothed in John Wick, obviously, as is more or less everyone. I liked Ruby Rose a lot in this film, and Common as well. I thought they were really good sort of foils.
I love Common. Common's great.
Yeah, Common needs to be in more things.
And he needs to just release more music and just be a bigger presence in my life.
Isn't he an Oscar-winning musician?
He is.
He is
with Jonathan Legend. Jonathan Legend.
Jonathan Legend
is his proper name. Is his birth name.
Number 8.
Lion.
Which, it's hanging in there, and I wonder...
Yeah, it's got some good buzz, hasn't it?
It is. I wonder how long the sort of heat from the Oscars is going to keep it sort of at the lower end of the top 10, if it's going to sail out for next week. It's a shame. I really like Dev Patel in the film. I like... What's the name of the young boy? Is it
Sonny Pawar.
Sonny Pawar. I thought there was a T in his surname. Sonny Pawar, I really liked him, and they do seem to share the role. They seem to have equal screen time. Nicole Kidman and David Wenham, great support as the parent. I did really like it. I think Rooney Mara is a bit superfluous, but, other than that, really, really enjoyable drama.
Number 7.
Hidden Figures.
Which you loved.
I didn't love, but I liked it.
Well, you didn't love, you liked.
I enjoyed.
I very much liked.
Yeah, there's a bit that really irked me, and it's right in like the dying seconds of the film.
What was that?
It's when the title comes up and it says Hidden Figures. It's like a black background and the text is in white, and then it does this like weird like wipe where the title to Hidden Figures like goes up towards the top of the screen.
I think I remember this.
You must notice, because it kind of took me out of the whole film.
I know
and
what you
almost
mean.
ruined the film for me. It was like really weird clip art.
I thought you were going to say it was like one of those moments they do in films where they like awkwardly reference the title. It's like, these figures are hidden.
They're so hidden.
Yes.
Wink to the camera.
Exactly, the golfing clap moment. Great performances, though. It had some wit to it. It was a non-threatening film, though. That was the thing. It was very much this year's The Help. It was, we're going to do a story about racial inequality, but we're going to make it fluffy. And do you know what?
Oh, happy International Women's Day to you, sir.
And happy Marina Baccarin Day to you as well, sir. I think if you're going to do Hidden Figures and International Women's Day and the same thing, why not?
Number 6.
And this is completely opposite of that. 50 Shades Darker.
50 Shades Duller. It is bad. It is dull. It is appallingly acted. It is lazily shot.
How is Kim? How is Kim in this? How is Kim?
Kim. Fresh my memory.
Basinger.
Basinger. Barely in it.
Yeah.
Barely in it.
She's been Mrs. Robinson, apparently.
She is Mrs. Robinson. I presume she's got a bigger role in the third one, which this movie spends its last half hour setting up.
So is this like the Empire Strikes Back of the 50 Shades trilogy?
Yes, it is.
Amazing.
The boudoir strikes back. Oh, yes, we went there. Give me some film news to cheer me up then, because you've ruined it with 50 Shades of Grey.
No greater hive of scum and villainy than the Red Room.
Than the Red Room, yeah.
Exactly. So, you know that we're getting about 20 reboots of Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
how about the 21st one that's just been commissioned?
Oh, they're going to get Russell Crowe for this one.
Russell the Crowe?
He's due for a Robin Hood movie, I think.
Because he's never done one, has he?
I feel like Russell Crowe would make a really good Robin Hood.
Absolutely. I feel like he could bring at least 12 different accents to it as well.
I feel that as well.
Yeah, truly. But this one, it's a bit of a twist, actually.
Okay.
It's actually not going to focus on Robin Hood. Robin Hood is apparently going to be 86. He's going to be killed off.
Okay.
The opening few scenes.
Fair enough.
And it's going to be about Maid Marian. And Maid Marian will be played by Margot Robbie. Because of course.
Because Margot Robbie needs more films. And
and she's very good. And I think that will be excellent.
Will she be sitting in a bubble bath explaining math to me? Because I feel like all films need that now.
Yeah. Whenever the film's getting a little bit too heavy, you just need to pull a big short.
Yeah.
Just say...
Adam McKay has spoilt us. That's absolutely what it is.
Yeah. But the tone for it is going to be like an action-adventure Robin Hood film, but it's going to have Marion in the lead, and she's going to be kicking ass and taking names and presumably shooting
bows and arrows
everywhere. And yeah, I'm up for that. Do you reckon we're going to do like a gender swap Sheriff of Nottingham? I'd love that. That'd be very good.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But, I wonder if she's going to be the lead in this one. Why can't they have like a lady Sheriff of Nottingham?
There's nothing that says that we can't.
Yeah,
who would you cast?
Helen Mirren.
I don't know.
It's my answer to everything. Helen Mirren.
She's your Kavon Wallace.
She's my Kavon Wallace.
I don't know.
There's something Helen Mirren has never been called. Someone's Kavon Wallace.
Who plays? Oh, what's the name of the principal in Hogwarts in the fifth one? The lady.
Oh, Imelda Staunton.
Yeah, I would have Imelda Staunton.
That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
So, should we talk about the Love Witch real quick then? This is
because I don't know so much about her. I keep seeing loads of pictures of. It looks like a '60s throwback.
It is.
She kind of looks like Kim Cattrall. Like, she
kind of does.
Yeah, like young Kim Cattrall back in the day.
You know how Black Dynamite is a sort of affectionate ode to blaxploitation films? It tries to replicate everything about blaxploitation films, even the way in which it's made.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the same thing with 60s technical horror movies.
Amazing.
And you know what? I loved the hell out of it. So the basic story is there is a witch named Elaine, played by, I think her name's Samantha Robinson. I don't really know her from anything. And she's the girl you've seen on all the posters and all the images,
yes,
with the raven hair and the that sort of Audrey Hepburn smile that she's got. And the idea is that her husband has died under mysterious circumstances. She's gone to try and make a new life for herself. She's moved into a new house in California, which happens to be styled in a sort of gothic Victorian style, because go figure. There also happens to be a Victorian tea room nearby, because why not? This is set, by the way, in the present day. But
oh, is it?
It is, but it looks like the 60s, and everyone talks like the 60s, and every now and again a character takes out an iPhone just to give you a really jarring feeling. And the idea is that she just wants to find a man, and she uses witchcraft and spells and spiritual trickery supernatural trickery, to lure these men into her clutches, and inadvertently kills them. And each time she does, it's driving her madder and madder until she eventually crosses paths with the police detective who is investigating all of these murders. We have a clip of Elaine and her friend discussing their romantic situations.
Where were we? Men. You said we need to give them what they want. Well, what do men want?
Just a pretty woman to love and to take care of them and to make them feel like a man and to give them total freedom in whatever they want to do or be.
But what about what we want? How are we going to be equals with men if we keep catering to all of their needs?
I think that if you want love, you have to give love. Giving men sex is a way of unlocking their love potential.
You sound as if you've been brainwashed by the patriarchy. Your whole self-worth is wrapped up in pleasing a man.
International Women's Day, and we're reviewing The Love Witch. Just, you couldn't plan this stuff. You really couldn't. And here's the thing about it. It is very much for our time. And despite its period setting, despite the fact that it's set and stylized in the sort of 60s milieu, it has very much a sort of relevance for this day, this time, post Emma Watson doing magazine spreads, and, very much of the gender politics of the now. And it's stunning. It's stunning to witness. It's stylized so neatly. It's got the music down. It's got it's got this weird sort of presentational acting style, which in one sense kind of is the 60s, and in another sense is very knowing and very meta. The performance in the middle of it all, Samantha Robinson, I think she's absolutely terrific. She's got genuine charisma there. She's got genuine screen appeal. And she plays it like Morticia Addams by way of Alison Brie, if you can imagine such a wonderful combo. But that's it. It's this sort of Stepford Wives kind of a parody. It's this sort of Hitchcockian throwback at times. Other times it's beckoning for Italian horror cinema. But it is bright. It is colourful. It is absolutely enthralling. And yeah, you really have to love it. It's one of those, it's going to become a cult favourite in the way that Black Dynamite did, and it deserves to be. I mean, I noticed you pulled up the images, and rightly so. It's a very visually interesting film. But I'm looking forward to seeing it again in the same way that I look forward to watching Black Dynamite about once a year.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
My wingman anytime.
And we're back. So, Mr. Allen, what we got now?
Elle.
Elle? Company L, but they smell. We've all heard the limericks. Is it limerick or rhyme? I can never remember.
A limerick would be 5 lines. It would be 2 long lines to begin with, and then 2 shorter lines, and then ending with a long line.
This is too many rules, man.
And then a rhyme could just
be a
do
rhyme.
anything in time.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That was horrible, by the way. You should feel bad.
Try to find a word that rhymes with horrible.
Incorrigible.
Incorrigible? Incorrigible.
Well, true. Okay.
I don't know, meanable.
So, Elle, this one comes with controversy, and of course we know it mostly for, its Oscar nomination. It was nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah.
Did it get any other nominations?
No, it was just that one.
Just that one.
It wasn't nominated for Best Foreign because there was some kind of weird loophole, trickery. Remember, it couldn't be nominated for that.
Is it one of those? Yes, but Paul's made so many English movies. We just consider him as English, as American English now.
Yeah, somebody that makes a film like Showgirls.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you've made Showgirls, you don't get to posit yourself as an artist.
Once you make Showgirls, you never go something else. See,
once you make Showgirls, you never go back.
Yeah, I can't rhyme.
Yeah, nothing rhymes with Showgirls. So Elle, this one is mired in controversy, though, because it largely revolves around sexual assault. And the idea is you've got Isabelle Huppert as she's sort of a middle-aged mother. She's kind of left to her own devices. Her son's left home. She's divorced. Her ex-husband has moved on. He's in a new relationship, and she is sexually assaulted in her home one night, and becomes understandably traumatized by the experience. The idea is that she then plays through in her head constant alternative scenarios where she manages to struggle enough to fight back, to fight him off of her, and questions arising of whether or not she could potentially kill a man under the circumstances. But this all falls in line with a sort of a shift in the paradigm of her own psychology anyway, because she's actually something of a sort of weird sociable sexual pariah, in that she's basically having it off with her best friend's husband, her best friend / work partner's husband, and at the same time she's lusting after other men as well. And you've got all these relationships coming together as she's dealing with this trauma. She strikes up a friendship with a couple who live across the road from her as well, and it turns out that it transpires that the man who assaulted her in the first place may not have entirely gone away and keeps reappearing in the neighbourhood. And right, so there are controversies, as I say, and a large part of that controversy stems from, and you might agree with me on this one, it's not that it shouldn't be done in a film, it's that it has to be treated really, really delicately. And it is about the enjoyment of the loss of control, and that becomes a really, really touchy thing to do under any circumstances. When you've got Paul Verhoeven doing it, you start to get really, really scared about what it might involve. And because we know the depths to which Basic Instinct, Showgirls, and all of his 80s films went, so this could go terribly wrong. But did you ever see Black Book, by the way?
I've seen Black Books. I've not seen Black Book.
There is no Bill Bailey in Paul Verhoeven's Black Book.
No Bill Bailey, no Dylan Moran.
Yeah, once you've got rid of Bill Bailey, you lose case. Yeah. So, but no, the thing about this all is it all hinges on Isabelle Huppert. The writing is sharp, but Isabelle Huppert is sharp enough in herself to really, really pull it off. And she does accurately, I think, portray the inner turmoil and this transitional period that this woman is going through. It is a character study, ultimately, and it is a character study that also doubles neatly as a thriller for the first half and then just a straight drama for the second. There are a couple of twists and turns, and you will see them coming, but you do step back and think, actually, there is something admirable about the way in which this film has been handled, particularly that it's coming from Paul Verhoeven, of all people, because nobody expects Paul Verhoeven to treat anything with any kind of sensitivity. So the idea that he has is almost mind-blowing. Isabelle Huppert did deserve the Oscar nomination, by the way. I do think genuinely deserved it. I mean, she turned up in that film with Gerard Depardieu last year, do you remember? The one, their son was...
Oh, the French one.
Yeah, the son had died, and he sent them on a...
Oh, yeah, what was that called?
Yeah, he sent them on, like, a mission to, like, you know, clues to follow after he died.
I'll look it up. I'm on IMDb. Calm down.
But other than that, I don't know Isabelle Huppert, really. Like, until a couple of years ago, I'd never really heard of her. What you found?
Well, I'm just trying to find what the film was called. Was it called Barrage?
No, it wasn't Barrage.
Was it Souvenir?
Maybe?
Was it Les Fausses Confidentials?
No.
That was terrible. Tout de Suite Maintenant.
No.
Was it Things to Come? There we go.
No, it wasn't. But you know
was
what?
Was it Louder Than Bombs? No, it wasn't, because that was Jesse Eisenberg.
That was the Jesse Eisenberg one.
It don't matter, does it?
No,
she was in a film.
You know, it's neither here nor there. She was in a film with Gerard Depardieu, and it wasn't bad. That's all that matters. But
Elle... out your own time. Get me a double work, listener.
But Elle is really, really impressive. But this is going to be one of those films that is going to divide people. They are either going to really respect it or they're going to hate the hell out of it. And the funny thing about it is the people that hate it aren't specifically women. There's no gender divide in terms of whether or not you like it or not. It just seems to be whether or not you think the film is taking its subject matter a little too brazenly. I didn't, and I thought it was somewhat bold for doing it, but I can understand exactly why some people might have that opinion of it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. So
that's just like your opinion, man.
Exactly. So do we need to finish the box office top 10? I think we do, don't we?
I'm up for that. Let's do it.
Number 5.
Moonlight. So this has gone back into the top 10.
Yes, funny that, isn't it, Case?
It's almost like we predicted it.
It's almost like it's gotten repopularised all of a sudden.
Yeah, so, Chiron.
Yeah.
He's good, isn't he?
He's good, yeah. I really
Black,
like
little, whatever it wants to be called today.
Hang on. He's little when he's a kid.
He's little when he's a kid, then when he's a slightly bigger kid, he is Chiron.
Oh, right, okay.
And then he is Black as a adult.
When he's an adult, he's called... Yeah. Which is weird, because I would have assumed Chiron was his adult name, but obviously not having seen the film, but when you see it, you're like, okay.
Makes sense.
I do love this film, though.
Yeah, me too.
It's just gorgeous to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so well acted. I love the three leads. There is a photo doing the rounds of the three Chiron actors, by the way, that I quite liked. But it deserved its last-minute Oscar, we shall say.
Yeah.
It really did.
No, definitely.
Notice La La Land has vacated the top 10, by the way. That's odd. But, Mahershala Ali, though, he's the bomb in this. He is so good.
I can't believe Remy has an Oscar.
I know.
I'm so happy.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, that was the one time when I was watching the Oscars where I literally like punched the air. And I was like, yes!
And I've watched the Oscars with you. You do get into them. But,
I mean, it's because I spend the rest of the year just being fairly kind of bored and complacent by everything else.
That's fair enough. And you shouldn't be complacent at all with Moonlight because it is genuinely brilliant and it should be seen.
Number 4.
Singing animals, doing some singing.
Okay.
That's it.
I feel like if you'd done it in a McConaughey accent.
All right, okay, oh sure. That's he saying.
You know what? It's just this film isn't moving. I just want to be rid of Sing.
It's really popular, isn't it?
It's really. How many weeks has it been in now?
Actually, not as many as Lion. It's been in there for 6.
For 6
Feels
weeks.
longer, doesn't it?
You know what? Celebrity cast, singing animals, X Factor storyline. The kids are going to like it. You're going to chuckle along with it and enjoy the music that's in there. What's not to love, really? It is what it is, and you kind of know what it is in advance.
Number 3.
So have you heard that Article 50 is going to be triggered in a few weeks?
Okay.
Yeah. And that whole Brexit thing. We're going to have part of Britain being broken off and whatnot.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere, yeah.
Grey pound and all that, and all people have told us what we can do and what we can't do. And
exactly.
We're going, well, Viceroy's house is at number 3.
That's good to know, isn't it? Yeah, Viceroy's house made it into something. So, which is basically the partition of India by way of upstairs, downstairs. It is Downton Does India. It is... That's the thing. It's this weird combination of period piece Downton style drama with the design aesthetic of the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. There's a weird romance subplot crowbarred in the background as well. There's a weird political plot crowbarred in the other side of it with Michael Gambon, and you spend the whole film just looking at it confused, thinking, I'm not sure which bit I'm supposed to be following here. What's the anchor point? Where am I anchored with this? Am I anchored in the political story and the romance is just gravy? Or am I supposed to be, interested in the romance and the political story is just going on in the background? You've not Pearl Harbored this one enough for me. I know Pearl Harbor is a war movie that happens to feature a romance. You've not made this clear. Michael Bay has outdone you. And that's really horrible to say to Gurinder Chadha.
Is that romance in Pearl Harbor between Cuba Gooding Jr. and his giant gun?
No, that romance is between Alec Baldwin and a Hawaiian shirt. You know this.
Of course.
Gentlemen, next time leave your goddamn hula shirts at home. Oh, remember when he was that good?
Number 2.
Darkness. No parents.
Speaking of, and referring back to Mr. Baldwin.
Yes.
Do you think that Alec Baldwin is the best Bruce Wayne / Batman that we never had?
Yes, I absolutely do.
We were robbed of that, but somehow of the world.
He's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Gabriel Macht.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I'll go with that until the day I die.
Yeah, but, that's a pretty fantastic Batman as well. So, Lego Batman, the movie.
Have you seen...
Lego Batman movie.
There is a meme doing the rounds of Sad Affleck.
A meme? Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I've seen it.
And you've got Lego Batman on one side of him, Chris Evans on the other, and Hugh Jackman. They're all laughing at Sad Affleck, and they've got their Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yeah, they're all like 90 plus, and he's like 26 or whatever.
Well, that's absolutely true. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Affleck did actually see the Lego Batman movie and had that expression, because the Lego Batman movie shows you what you can do with a Batman movie. And it's shocking that it took Lego to do this, because after Christopher Nolan, you think, okay, there is room to go into slightly more fantastical area here. They didn't quite do that. They doubled down on the gritty, grimdark aesthetic, and it's taken Lego to bring us back to something actually enjoyable. And it is enjoyable. It is funny. It does love Batman. It does love the mythology. It does play with it. It's got the perfect voice cast. It's got the perfect tone, the perfect energy, and the perfect style. And I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to see Chris McKay move on to... Which one is he doing next?
He's doing Nightwing.
Nightwing. I'm excited to see what he does with that, because if he can bring even half the energy to live action that he did animation, we're safe.
I want Dev Patel to be Nightwing.
Oh, God, that's good casting.
Number 1.
Logan.
Did you expect that?
Of course.
Did you actually expect that?
I know you so well.
Well, you've seen it now. Please enlighten us.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good, isn't it?
I like it a great deal.
It's...
I mean, the thing I was most surprised by, I didn't think that Stephen Merchant was going to have his regular accent.
Oh, yeah.
And he did. And that just made me enjoy it even more.
Kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah. The thing I like about it, and it's one of those things that it's only occurred to me in hindsight, is that the violence in it is really, really brutal. But the reason it's as effective as it is because the scenes in between your set pieces are really quiet, somber, dramatic affairs. And I really love that it just leaps from one extreme to the other.
Another, yeah, it's really, really quiet. And
it's really, really quiet. And then it's slash and dash.
It took me a good hour after I saw the film to place in my mind where that dad was from. You know, the dad in the family.
Oh, Eric LaSalle.
Yeah,
from
he's
ER.
from ER.
Yeah.
I was watching the film, I was like, he's good, but where do I know him from?
Benton? Dr. Benton?
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was his first name or second name, but yeah, Eric LaSalle.
Eric LaSalle, yeah.
I loved Patrick Stewart in this film. I thought he was so good.
Amazing.
And do you see what I mean about him actually getting to do something different with Xavier for a change? The idea that Xavier isn't...
Yeah, well, he's angry and he's also senile now and...
Having some actual anger, but also having some wit about him as well. Having some bizarre fun with it all, but Daphne Keane... So good.
This is the first film.
This is her first one. I'm not sure. I think she's a relative newcomer, at least. Daphne Keane as Laura X-23, whatever. She's great.
Yeah, Boyd Holbrook is really good as well. Do you know what he really reminds me of Sam Rockwell about 25 years ago.
Oh, really? Because I looked at him and thought, oh, you're a manlier Tom Felton. But
it's the hair, isn't it? You're not the only person that said that. But I feel like I'm talking about actual his character and demeanour, and not just the fact he's got blonde hair.
And that's it. It's a shame that Sam Rockwell was wasted on a Marvel movie when he was, because something like this he would have been perfect for. But, and you know what? Hats off to Hugh Jackman, because he's done the unthinkable. He has managed to see this character through to the bitter narrative end, and it works, because I don't think we need any more Wolverine movies. I mean, they're obviously going to recast him, and he's still going to appear in other films, but I don't think we need any more. No. I'm content.
I wish this was it. I think if they'd actually done Gambit, and if Gambit was as beloved as what
still
Wolverine
happening,
is,
apparently.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's better with
Tron
Ascension, Bill and Ted 3. He's in that locker somewhere in space. Austin Powers 4 when he goes to the 80s.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian.
Must we go
tropical? Yeah, exactly. it's kind of there for me.
That Black Mirror movie. Remember the one?
I think that is going to happen.
Robert Downey Jr. bought it. He's done nothing with it.
It was a Toby Kebbell episode, was it not?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but final word on this. It's great. Hugh Jackman is amazing.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back and dancing. So, we've saved the biggie for last. And because I know you so desperately want to see this, because it stars two of your favourite people in the world. It stars Ms. Larson and Mr. Goodman. So
Mr. Goodman.
Mr. Goodman. By the way, I did send you the image of a few a few Goodmen.
Yes.
And
it made me chortle.
I thought that would somehow. So yes, Kong Skull Island, which is retroactively been, it's not retroactive, but the 11th hour, it's been made into part of a cinematic universe with Godzilla.
Yeah, they kind of announced that last year sometime.
Yeah, the film was already underway, and then they decided, you know what, now it's Godzilla Part 2.
Yes, because then they announced it was going to be a Kong versus Godzilla monster mash, if you will.
And if you're willing to stick around when everyone else has left the cinema, there are hints to that effect. This actually takes place before Godzilla, though. This takes place in the 1970s, and in a way that might actually try your patience a little bit, because they go really heavy with the 70s soundtrack. What you've got is, do you remember the Monarch organisation in Godzilla?
Vaguely.
Who's the name? Is it I don't want to say Juliet Stevenson.
I just remember I just wanted to just wait around for some actual monsters.
No, well, they've got you covered. But you remember the Monarch organisation that Ken Watanabe worked for? You
mean, let them fight.
Yeah. Remember Ken Watanabe? His entire function in life was simply to stand on the deck of ships, stare off into the middle distance, and then mutter things like, let them fight, to himself.
And to say Godzilla in a certain way.
Gojira. Because they always like to say it in that way that could just as easily be Gojira.
Yes.
Yeah. Which there is a gag in the 98 version about. Right, so the idea is that organisation, this is them in the 70s, and their head is John Goodman. His second in command is Corey Hawkins. And on the day that America announces it's going to be withdrawing from Vietnam, John Goodman goes into the government funding office of whatever senator it is and says, "We found this island. It could have anything on it. We could change the world. Can we go, please?" And they say yes. And he says, "By the way, I need a military escort." So you then got all the military forces who are about to pull out of Vietnam, including Samuel L. Jackson's platoon. Have a guess who Samuel L. Jackson's second in command is, by the way?
I did know this. Is it John Ortiz?
No, it's Toby Kebbell.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, because of course it is. Because it's a film on a day ending in Y, so it's Toby Kebbell.
And also, there's some severe mocapping going on. I feel like he may have... Because when you can't get Andy Serkis...
Yeah. Right, so this is the idea then. So Samuel L. Jackson's platoon get an 11th hour task to escort them to the island. Along for the ride is a former SAS commander played by Tom Hiddleston. You've got a photojournalist played by Brie Larson, who just happened to be in that part of the world covering the war. They all go along to the island, and wouldn't you know it, it turns out they're not alone on the island. Every mythical creature, it turns out, has roots in reality, and we have these sort of dinosaur-like creatures who threaten to consume the world. And the only thing holding them at bay is the storm that surrounds the island, and on the island itself, Kong, the king of the island, a mountain-sized ape. And it also turns out, however, there are also humans on the island who have, under their protection, a crashed fighter pilot from World War II, played by John C. Reilly. And that's where this clip comes from.
Yeah, you smell that? That's death.
What the hell is this place?
This is what's left of Kong's parents.
I've taken enough photos of mass graves to recognize one.
The crash site's just on the other side of this valley. We'll cross through and make it to the highest point west.
This place is a real no-no, sir.
We need to be going to the north side right now.
And you're welcome to do that, my man. By yourself. I'm not leaving Jack out there. Now, who's with me?
We can make it.
You're mighty right we can make it. Now, stay sharp. Keep an eye out.
I've only been here 28 years. What do I know?
So, right, the basic setup for this one is all these creature features on an island kind of thing. They've just borrowed elements from every single one, slapped it all together in something new. They've given it the opening credits from the Godzilla remake in 2014, so it is visibly set in the same sort of universe, and it wears its influences so proudly on its sleeve that you can't fault it for that. On the cast front, you know, everyone's doing sort of their level best. Samuel L. Jackson's, kind of phoning it in, but Samuel L. Jackson's phoning it in is still perfectly okay.
Deep Blue Sea in it.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea performance, exactly. John Goodman is playing John Goodman version, 7B from the John Goodman playbook of sympathetic yet slightly sleazy characters. Brie Larson has evidently cashed in that Oscar for the chance to be this year's Jungle Hottie in an impractical white vest. Tom Hiddleston doesn't really have a character to speak of, but you know what? He looks so buff in his tight t-shirt. You can't fault him for that. He's got the look. He's got the slick back blonde hair. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, Taylor, did you hear that? He looks great.
Bring back Hiddle Swift. But the weak link in the cast front is Corey Hawkins, who is just so out of his depth. In the same way that he is on 24 on TV. But he's out of his depth here. And you're sort of thinking, you've got none of the required charisma for this. And yet, the film leaves you in such a way that he can feasibly stay with this as a franchise, which is terrifying. John C. Reilly's a lot of fun, though. I've got to give him that. But the big thing is it's a ride. And it's a ride that Jordan Vogt-Roberts... Is it Vogt-Roberts, by the way?
That's what I've been going with. Because it's spelled V-O-G-T. Yeah.
So Jordan Vogt-Roberts, who I don't know his previous work, you might.
I do. Kings of Summer, isn't it?
That's it. Thank you. Yeah. I knew there was a sort of indie film. That's the Nick Offerman one, isn't it?
And Megan Mullally.
Yes.
And is Thomas Mann in that as well? Or am I confusing him with another one of those boys?
I think so. It's either him or it's Ty Sheridan. I can't tell offhand.
Yeah.
I feel like you could interchange those two.
I like them both.
Yeah. But John Vogt-Roberts and his cinematographer on this is Larry Fong, who brought us... do you remember... obviously you remember Batman Superman. But he's mercifully...
I don't remember.
Well, he's upped his game, thankfully, since then, because it was so forgettable that you can't remember it. But
Nick Robinson from Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, yes.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And it does work. So the visuals and everything, it does genuinely work. It doesn't try to reach any of the more po-faced highbrow terrain that Peter Jackson went for, and it's kind of merciful that it does.
Okay. I liked that. I remember
I like it, but I thought
King
it was
Kong.
too serious for its own good.
It's very long.
It's very long, yeah. It's about 4 days long.
But it's a bit like Superman Returns, what that was to the Dick Donner Superman. It's almost like a shot for shot.
It is.
Kind of love letter, isn't it? Apart from dinosaurs.
I got drunk Christmas 2005 and accidentally wandered into a screening of King Kong.
Did you not pay for a ticket?
No, I did pay for the ticket, but
drunk, but you know.
Drunk, but yeah. I'm still going to go to the box office and queue like a regular person.
Yeah, I'm not an animal.
Exactly, that's what separates us from the animals, man.
Well, the ability to purchase tickets for films.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think I lasted about 40 minutes and then drunkenly fell asleep, so thanks for that, Peter Jackson. But I was also stranded in Luton for the rest of the night, but... Yeah, I know, but never mind. Right, we're going to have to edit that because this goes out in Luton.
Sorry, Luton. Shout out to everyone in Luton.
Big up Luton Massive. The problem with it really is that it doesn't have characters. The film simply doesn't have any characters. The actors are there to literally run across grassy plains or through bits of jungle, and every now and again, one of them gets, as if mandated, a character monologue in which they reveal their backstory to you. Tom Hiddleston is particularly affected by this. He literally gets to stand and say, "So my father went off to war and blah, blah, blah." Like, I don't care. Like, if this is all the characterization you're getting, I genuinely don't care.
Where is his character from?
Oh, he's SAS. He's British.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And there's a weird moment where they seem to imply that he kind of knows Brie Larson, but they can't make up their minds whether or not he does. And you just sit there looking at this whole film thinking, hang on, you won Best Actress. Why is your job here literally to photograph things and fire a flare? What the hell? And yeah, that's what Best Actress gets you in a mainstream tentpole blockbuster. And that's kind of depressing. I mean, genuinely, John Goodman's got a bigger role than Brie Larson. Corey Hawkins has a bigger role than Brie Larson. John C. Reilly has a bigger role than Brie Larson.
All right, it's all good.
One of those three's won an Oscar.
Put your embolism back in. John Goodman's never even been nominated for an Oscar.
Has he not?
No.
I thought he won an Oscar.
No, he's one of those actors. It's like him, Steve Buscemi, Sam Rockwell. Just most people you feel like they should have.
Wait, has Sam Rockwell been nominated?
Never been nominated.
You're kidding me.
Never been nominated.
Oh, you're the Oscars guy. I mean, I just assumed. But wow. Anyway, so the whole thing is, it's not our film of the week. That's the sad reality of it.
It's an okay film of the week.
It's an okay film this week, but there's better ones. I would wholeheartedly recommend The Love Witch, although I think most people would be better off with Catfight. But swings and roundabouts. So next week is another interesting ensemble. Next week, I'm going to invite you to be our guest, Mr. Allen.
Okay. I will begrudgingly accept.
Begrudgingly be our guest, because Beauty and the Beast, of course, is here.
Yay.
And it's going to be...
I am looking forward to it.
It's going to be the biggest thing ever, isn't it?
It's going to make all the money, because it's going to make that millennial nostalgia money.
Oh, God,
That's what it's going to make.
But I'm taking my sister to the press show with me, because 25 years ago, she drove me insane with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that is right in her wheelhouse.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, she used to work in the Disney store, hilariously.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. But we've also got The Olive Tree, we've got Wolves at the Door, we've got Age of Shadows, we've got Personal Shopper with it's Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
We've got The Salesman, which a little bit of notoriety there.
Yeah, that won an Oscar.
Won an Oscar, and its director, of course, protested by not showing up.
Yeah, good man.
We've also got Gleason, and most importantly of all, a film I know you and I are both really excited about. Get Out.
Yeah, so I'm going to see it on my birthday.
I know.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Jordan Peele's directorial debut, and apparently it's amazing. Every critic in the US has said it's amazing.
Yeah, I believe it's still got 100%
Is it still 100%?
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, it's gone up then. Last I checked, it was 99.
Oh, maybe it just gone. It had split by one.
No. Well, I think that was like the first day it was at 99.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I suppose it's 100, but
oh man.
I mean, I am so excited for it, but even more so, I am so excited to see Bradley Whitford in that kind of a film.
I know, me too. Is it Catherine Keener's his wife?
Yeah.
I can't wait for this.
I need it. And the one person from Girls that I like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And also who should have been Sue Storm in a better Fantastic Four movie. Oh. But, we can all dream.
What could have been.
Yep. So we've got all those to come next week off screen. And in the meanwhile, please get on to BritishPodcastAwards.com and vote for us in the listener vote. Yeah. And because we really would like an award.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Would we just have it on the desk?
Yeah, we'll have it on the desk with us. We'll pose for pictures with it. We've done 84 episodes of this,
Have we actually?
We've actually done 84 episodes of Offscreen.
I've aged. I didn't have a beard at the start of this, and now I'm like Gandalf.
You didn't have a beard, you didn't have glasses, and your shirts used to be like crisp and pressed.
And now I'm like John C. Reilly and Conk.
Exactly. So yeah, all those next week off screen. I've been Van Connor.
And I have been Case Allen.
And we'll be back.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Extra podcasty bit then, Van.
Are you trying to jazz up the term podcast extras?
Yeah, if I try to say everything like a 1960s beat poet.
Fair enough. Beats a grizzled 1890s prospector, dag nabbit.
Yep. So Omar Little from The Wire, a.k.a.
Michael K. Williams?
Michael Kenneth Williams.
Ah.
I don't know if he's going by the full name or just
I
as
see him
a K.
as Michael K. a lot.
Michael K., yeah. He's going to be in the Han Solo film.
Yeah, I heard this.
Yeah, he may be the villain, and that'd be amazing. I would love
that'd
that.
be good.
Yeah.
If we've got Walton Goggins is going being the villain over in Tomb Raider, Michael K. Williams being the villain on Han Solo, that'd be just gravy.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
They make amazing bad guys.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
But Michael K. Williams, he do the RoboCop remake, I want to say.
He was his partner, wasn't he?
Yes, he was the new Nancy Allen.
Yeah,
but
I mean, they look the same, don't they?
Yeah, they totally do.
Talk about typecasting.
I totally saw Michael K. Williams and thought, yeah, you were great in Carrie, but as you do. But the Han Solo, we've still not got a title on this, have we?
No, I really hope they give us one soon, because it's just really awkward to say the young Han Solo.
Yeah,
film.
I think there's a Star Wars Celebration coming up in a couple months, isn't there?
So it could be there, or we'll wait until Last Jedi is out, and that'll be that, because,
Well, we're getting a Last Jedi trailer with, is it not D23, it's the Star Wars Celebration thing in April?
That's April, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Guardians comes out in April, so...
yes, so we should...
Synergy.
Funny how these things line up, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's like it was planned.
I know. But,
right, Disney are wanting to reboot a certain franchise.
Okay.
They wanted to reboot Tron.
Oh, I heard this. It's awful.
With Jared Leto. Or Jared Leto. Or, the one who gets his face kicked in by Edward Norton in Fight Club.
You're too blonde.
Oh, I love that scene. It's satisfying, isn't it? It's like opening a new packet of coffee. Satisfying.
It is. It really is. And I equate it to the first time you open a fresh box of cereal. Like that to me.
Yeah.
And when you realise you're an adult, so you can just reach down and pull the toy out in advance.
Yeah, I realised I was an adult when I could have Cocoa Pops at midnight.
Oh, cinnamon grahams for me.
Oh, yeah. Do you say Grahams or cinnamon grams? How do people say grams?
Grahams.
I say Grahams because there's a H in it.
Well, aren't they now just curiously cinnamon?
To quoth Eddie Izzard.
Quoth Eddie Izzard. Yeah. But no,
there's an F and H in it.
They're now called curiously cinnamon, and I'm intrigued as to why it's curious.
He's curious if we change the name.
Yeah, that's curious, but they're curiously cinnamon. Don't know why.
If they were curiously arsenic, that'd be more curious.
It's like there's a new sort of a smaller version of Costa that's opened called Costa Pronto, which I can't help but think inadvertently implies that a regular Costa is slow. Yeah, bit weird that one, isn't
like
it?
Like the Tesco Express.
Yeah. Was Tesco slow to begin with?
And Tesco Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tesco Metro, you got a very diverse hiring policy here? Why is it
Where
Metro?
does that come from? Yeah, exactly.
Where's the Metro
You've just heard of a word, haven't you?
They just really like that Eddie Murphy movie.
Metro.
Do you remember that movie? I used to really like that movie.
Yeah, which one was Metro?
Metro's where he was the hostage negotiator, and he had to train Michael Rappaport.
Yes.
Yeah. It was terrible, but I loved it.
Can you remember the time Michael Rappaport was in films?
Yeah, I remember that. Isn't he now like a freaky Republican on Twitter?
Yeah, he's a bit weird.
Yeah, that's a shame. He's gone the Stephen Baldwin route. That's what it is.
Yeah. He was always the lesser of the Baldwins.
Well, no, Daniel was the lesser of the Baldwins, let's be honest. So actually, there was a thing recently that Daniel Baldwin has an ungodly number of IMDb credits to his name. Like a way bigger number than you think. You think of Daniel Baldwin as having been in like 15 films? No.
I often forget that Daniel Baldwin is even a Baldwin.
But he is. He's the roller cola Baldwin, to be fair. But he's not prime Coke Zero Baldwin. But
128 credits to his name.
Yeah. You didn't expect that for a second, did you? 128. How many's Eric Roberts on now? Because Eric Roberts has an absolutely stupid number.
It is like Christopher Lee levels.
Yeah. Eric Roberts has been in something like 3 times as many films as his sister, the Oscar-winning Julia Roberts.
It's amazing.
And
I didn't know that he himself been nominated for an Oscar.
How did he for?
I guess like when you've been in that many films, it's like it's law of averages, isn't it?
It is. If you fling enough at the dartboard, sooner or later you're going to hit the bullseye.
Runaway Train from 1985.
Not a clue.
Which was nominated for 3 Oscars. 2 escaped convicts and a female railway worker find themselves trapped on a train with no brakes and nobody driving. That sounds incredible.
That sounds like the plot of Unstoppable.
John Voight, Eric Roberts, and Rebecca De Mornay.
Oh man, I love me some 80s De Mornay, man.
I just makes me think of that Ricky Gervais, Carl Pilkington thing. Have you seen that?
No.
He's Carl Pilkington is trying to like pitch a film to them, and he said, I would cast Clive Owen. Clive Owen is someone who doesn't exist. He's thinking of Clive Owen. and Rebecca De Mornay. And Stephen Merchant says, so you're trying to pitch a film with a woman that's not been in a film for 15 years and a man that doesn't exist.
True. What was Rebecca De Mornay? Rebecca De Mornay was
I remember from Three Musketeers. That's what I know her from.
Musketeers, but I think the most recent thing I saw her in, she turned up in the what was going to be the sort of setup for Boston Legal.
Really?
Yeah. When he was on the
Danny
Practice.
Danny Crane.
When they were on the Practice setting up that spin-off, she's part of the William Shatner law team. But I remember from Hand That Rocks the Cradle more than anything else.
Right then, so including films that are
yet to be released.
Are filming in post-production and in pre-production.
He's got 9 of those, hasn't he?
No, he's got about 50. Like seriously, 50. Just like on the burner. He's got many stoves, Eric Roberts.
It would appear.
So, yeah, including all those, 454 credits.
Wow!
So, chances are, if you've ever seen any film, you've seen Eric Roberts.
Although, the smartest thing he ever did is in The Dark Knight, of course, and pretty much everybody alive has seen The Dark Knight.
Maroni, isn't he?
Yeah. But isn't he the villain of the first Expendables as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. It's him and the dude from Dexter. They're the villains.
They are indeed.
So let me talk real quick then about Dancer, because there's not an awful lot to say on this one. It's a ballet documentary. Well, it's a dance documentary. It's the story of Sergei Polonin, the bad boy of the ballet who, rather spectacularly dropped out a few years ago. He's the youngest ever lead dancer for the ballet. And, okay, so the basic gist is, and the film comes to us with, there's a lot of rock music in it. It's heavily stylized. There's a lot of Black Sabbath. There's a lot of like hardcore rock in there, and it's put to traditional dance. The idea is that Sergei Polonin himself is a bit of a rebel. He likes his recreational drugs. He likes his heavy nights with 3-4 beautiful women at a time, and he's just a terrific dancer. He is the Tony Stark of dancers. So it's fitting that the movie begins with the song Iron Man. We have a clip describing his own role model.
West and East, there are 2 separate worlds. So when I went to Russia, I had to build my name from the beginning.
Igor was a father figure. I think that was an easy path for Sergei to accept after his father was away and his family was broken.
So it's a real by-the-numbers one. It's it starts off by saying he's a bad boy, he's a rebel, he likes, drugs, alcohol and women. Doesn't show you any of that at all. Doesn't particularly talk to him about that. It's a real by-the-numbers. So I was born on day A, And then during month B, I moved to so-and-so. And in week C, I graduated and became a dancer. And and that's basically it. I mean, it's a mercifully short kind of 90-minute made-for-TV. You can see this being one of those sort of sub-ESPN type documentaries. You know, we had one last week. What was the one last week we had? ESPN doc. Can't remember.
It was, wasn't it the one about the guy from the place? And then the woman was there, and she was like, "Oh, I'll tell you what."
Eric Roberts was in it.
Eric Roberts was in it.
Roberts was in it.
Chances are, I can't remember. I find it hard to remember films sometimes. There were so many.
You are an award-nominated critic.
I know. I feel like it's from my mumbly, almost Harrison Ford like.
Don't, because we're going to get to Harrison Ford later. We're going to get to Harrison Ford's mumbling
Star
later.
Wars.
But no, this is the thing. I mean, it's one of those. It's obviously going to have its fans, and those fans are going to be heavily involved in dance themselves. I mean, because everything I see gets logged on my app, and my app for some reason keeps posting to Facebook. So I actually had a dancer friend message me about this film and ask if it was any good. I went, I'll be honest, it was all right, but I didn't learn anything particularly other than this man was born, went to school, became a dancer, and then one day stopped being a dancer. I know nothing of the man because the film stopped short of showing it me. Although, you know, it was really nice to see and everything. There's a famous YouTube video of Sergei Polnin dancing to Take Me to Church by
Hosier.
Hosier, yeah. Have you seen the video? I had a passing familiarity with it. It's basically ballet done to that song. And it was huge on YouTube. That is included. But that seems to have been included as his creative peak. As this sort of, this is what you'll know him for. And you're like, yeah, but the whole point is you're supposed to educate us on where we should know him from, not where we do. And it falls a little short of the mark for me there. It's by Stephen Cantor, of all people, as well. But I don't know. Anyway, film news me, come on.
News me, baby. Travis Knight, he's a guy.
Travis Knight is the guy that, wasn't he one of the writers on Pacific Rim?
Was he?
I'm sure.
Oh, let's have a look.
I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look.
Right, whilst you're looking that up, Travis Knight is the CEO of Leica.
Oh, no, he's not. No, different guy then. Sorry.
Different Travis Knight.
Different Travis Knight, yes.
He's the CEO of Leica.
Yeah.
He is the director of Kubo.
He is, yes.
Yeah, that's what he made his first film. Yeah.
As you do, yeah. Totally.
Debut. And also, he is the heir to the Nike fortune.
He is indeed.
Which is incredible. His dad is Mr. Nike.
It was Travis Beecham, by the way, sorry.
Of course. Yeah. You just saw Travis.
I just saw Travis. I just thought, why does it always rain on me?
He's not the drummer for Blink 182 either.
He's not the character from Clueless.
He's not the character from Clueless. Yeah, exactly. His dad is Mr. Nike.
He is,
or whatever his surname is.
I was shocked to find that out. That's such a weird sort of bit of trivia, isn't it?
Yeah. So he got some money from his dad and was like, I would like to buy a animation company. And then Leica were already around and he part funded them.
Fair enough. Cool. And do you know what? I don't think we can argue with the results.
No, you cannot. He's clearly got a love for what they do.
Quite clearly. I don't think anyone's faulting Kubo anytime soon.
No.
But God, no.
No. But he's in the news because he's been tapped to direct a certain spin-off of... Yeah, of course you know this. Of the Transformers franchise. So he's going to be doing the Bumblebee standalone film for reasons unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out.
Because he can't be doing it for the money, can he? Like, this got to be some kind of lateral move.
Yeah, there is a script, so I can only imagine the script must be amazing.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I mean... Prove me wrong. I really want, show me an amazing Bumblebee film.
Oh yeah, I mean, just show me an amazing Transformers movie, and I'll be happy. In fact, I'll lower that bar. Show me a half decent Transformers movie. Yeah. I mean, the first one was arguably all right. The second one is basically a crime against cinema. The third one is like constructing.
Did you say the first one was all right?
All right.
Oh, everyone said. I feel like the entire world is a first Transformers film apologist.
No, the thing is, it's retroactively all right because of everything bad that comes after it. The first one.
That's like saying, World War One was just terrible. But then compared to World War Two, actually, it's tiny moments, isn't it?
Compared to World War Two, good times were had.
Exactly.
Christmas Day, we had a laugh.
Your logic is not sound.
No. I feel like if you lost... what's his name? If you lost Simmons, Agent Simmons' character, John Turturro. If you lost John Turturro and the line, Bumblebee, stop lubricating that man, the film could actually have stood a chance. But you know what? I let those things slide, and then what happened? We got Revenge of the Fallen.
Was John Turturro in the first three?
First three, yes. I know. It's shocking, isn't it?
What are you doing, Barton Fink?
Yeah, but don't forget, the third one, he gets Alan Tudyk as his personal assistant and valet.
Oh, Alan of the two d***s.
Yeah, Alan of the two d***s. But no, I'm an apologist for the first Transformers, but I will settle for seeing a half-decent Transformers movie, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Cade. I like Cade Yeager. Well,
and his brilliant description of himself. My name's Cade Yeager. I'm an inventor.
I'm an inventor. From Texas, apparently. He must sound like I'm from Boston.
Here's my underage daughter. Please shoot the lens between her thighs, which is just mortifying.
I was so surprised when I saw Jack Rayner?
Jack Rayner, yeah.
When I saw him in Sing Street. And he's great in that.
He is, isn't he?
He's so good.
No woman can truly love a man who listens to Phil Collins.
Yeah, such a good line.
That's the defining line of that film.
Absolutely.
But, oh man. No, he was also in A Royal Night Out, incidentally. He was the
I've
love
still
interest.
not seen that. I keep meaning to see it because I recently watched all of Netflix The Crown.
Ah, yes.
And I really enjoyed that. So now I want to get me some royal drama.
I know someone that worked on the special effects for that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Some of the effects are really, really good.
I've not seen any of it.
There's an entire episode based around this giant fog that apparently descended on London and caused madness for like a week, and people lost their lives. There was just chaos, and I knew nothing about it.
I didn't know this. I never heard of this.
Like, other than seeing it in The Crown, I was just like, what?
All right, you've sold me. In 3 weeks' time, I will try and watch it.
Try and watch. It's definitely worth a watch. I feel like your good lady would enjoy it.
Do you know what I feel like? I feel like this weekend is all about season 2 of Love.
Yes, that comes out on Friday, doesn't
Next
it? Yeah.
weekend is going to be season 1 of Iron Fist.
That has come around so fast.
Yeah. And then the weekend after that, I will try The Crown.
I feel like Netflix is like the ambassador from that Ferrero Rocher advert, and we are being truly spoiled.
Oh yeah, do you know their production budget now is $6 billion?
Yeah, which is why they can go afford to just buy Martin Scorsese films.
Marty, we own you now.
Marty Scorsese.
Very true. Should we do a quick review then?
Yes, a really quick one, like 5 words.
5 words. Well, the title is 5 words.
All right, 6.
the time of your lives. All right.
give me some more.
So The Time of Their Lives, which stars Joan Collins and Pauline Collins, who are not related. Joan Collins and Jackie Collins are related. This was like a discussion we had to have in the room before the film. This kind of plays as, you know, this sort of little subgenre that's erupted in the last 10 years of let's make comedies, dramedies for the older crowd.
Yes.
You wind up with things like It's Complicated or Hope Springs. This is a sort of Britishy one, and it's Joan Collins and Pauline Collins. And the idea is that Joan Collins is playing what's effectively a satirical version of herself. Well, not satirical, a sort of a fictionalised version of herself. And she's a faded movie star. She's faded into obscurity. She's in an old folks' home. One day, whilst on a senior citizens excursion, she befriends Pauline Collins, who's like a downtrodden retired housewife type, who's lost her son in years, in his younger years, and never quite gotten over it. Her husband doesn't seem that interested in her anymore. He's kind of resigned to simply sitting on the couch and reading the paper. And Joan Collins basically hijacks Pauline Collins to get her to accompany her to a funeral in France for a famous British director who also happens to have been an old flame of Joan Collins. And the idea is Joan Collins wants to get there to this funeral because anyone in Hollywood is going to be there, and she's seeking a way to resurrect her career. But it soon transpires that both women have ulterior motives and things they want to achieve from this journey. We have a trailer clip.
You, Helen Shelley. I've never met a film star before. British film director Jerry Standing's funeral in Villeray, France. I can't go on my own, can I? I can't go to France. Everybody in Hollywood is going to be there. You and I, we could have an adventure. You don't know me. Just keep moving, okay?
Madam?
I've no idea who she is, but she does look familiar. I feel like a teenager again.
Well, we're not getting any younger.
Why don't you help me to my room?
France? Are you going senile?
No.
So, there are things to actually really like about The Time of Their Lives. For one thing, the casting of it is actually surprisingly self-aware. Joan Collins herself actually is quite self-aware. She's in playing someone that's so closely tied to her own public image. There is a self-awareness to it that you don't quite expect of Joan Collins. She's always been kind of a little bit humorless. You know what I mean? She's game for a laugh, but she doesn't really, in the many talk show appearances she's put in the last 30 years, she's never really directed that her gaze inwards at all. And this seems to be as close as you're going to get to that. And actually, the results are surprisingly amusing. Pauline Collins, on the other hand, comes with this sort of stigma of being, is it Shirley Valentine I'm thinking of? I mean, you've got a mum, so I presume at some point Shirley Valentine's been on in your house.
Well, I've not spoken to mum for a while, so...
Fair. Do you think she might have watched Shirley Valentine at that time?
No. My mum's not very...
Cine literate?
Not very cine literate.
That's fair. To be fair, my mum isn't terribly cine literate. She likes those awful direct-to-DVD John Travolta movies, like Life on the Line.
I've just been reading about the film I Am Wrath.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah, my mum loved that.
Really? Do you know who's in it? Rebecca De Mornay.
Is she in it? Yeah. Oh, hang on, is she his wife?
Yes.
Yeah. She gets, like, the whole point of that plot is that she is brutally murdered.
Really?
Yeah, like, horrifically.
Spoiler.
But no, that's literally the plot.
That's like... It's
of,
like a Taken kind of a thing.
It's more like... Remember you ever see Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Yeah, that with John Travolta and a weird amount of comedy. Like, it's surprisingly funny. I was amused by it, but it is so middle of the road that it's basically avoiding traffic. Yeah, so with this, you think, okay, having Shirley Valentine in there, that comes with its own sort of stigma, and they play around with that little bit of self-awareness as well. It does, more or less, land. There is a surprisingly effective role for Jolie Richardson. Remember her from...
yeah, of course, yeah.
Event Horizon she was in, Jolie Richardson.
Well, she's in a lot.
But yeah, that
films.
Nip Tuck, 101 Dalmatians. It's about all I got right
Daughter
now.
of Vanessa.
Daughter of Vanessa. And then, of course, Franco Nero, who shows up and decides to horrify the population at large by getting his knob out for literally no reason. But it was faintly amusing. And I thought with the level of self-awareness that it had, actually was doing something kind of different. I liked that it was a British film doing this as well, because it's the sort of thing that you always see American films doing, rather than over this side of the pond. On the whole, I was sort of thinking, my grandmother would adore this, and my mum would probably think it was pretty chucklesome too. But I don't think it's going to be the time of anyone's life now.
No. I mean, films should always be judged on their chucklesomeness factor.
Yes.
Chucklesomeness. That's hard to say.
It is a little bit.
Right. Two pieces of Joe Carnahan news.
Oh, yes.
So I don't think we've spoken about this, but let's talk about it a little bit now, because it could be good. I'm going to be quietly optimistic. So Joe Carnahan is remaking The Raid.
Yes, we were going to talk about it.
We were going to talk about it. I think we got waylaid. Because...
No, we were going to talk about this the week that we didn't do podcast extras. That's why it was that week.
Remember.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it now. Why not?
That's fair.
Let's chat. Yeah, he's going to be doing that. He's going to be doing it with Frank Grillo.
Yes,
starring in it, which I think is good.
That's very good.
He's solid for this kind of, and I feel like he needs like a big film.
He does,
like
and he's up for a scrap. Let's be honest, Frank Grillo.
If you've seen The Purge, the two Purges, he's in two.
2 and 3, 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3. He's in. Yeah.
I don't know if he'll cameo in the new reboot.
I doubt it. I think he's done for his character, but he's good, and he's also Crossbones.
Yes, he is
in the Captain America.
I really wish
Captain's America.
Yeah, I really wish they were going to keep that character around longer. I feel like
they could have done more.
Yeah.
He's kind of just like he gets relegated to that villain that gets bumped off in the first 5 minutes.
Hell of a way to go, though.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you got to go, and it sets up the tone of the film.
It does, yeah.
Pretty decent way to go.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they are remaking The Raid, which is a film that we both really enjoy.
We love. I think we had on this show we had it as the film of the year in 2012.
Wow.
I think 2012, 2013 maybe. What year was The Raid? 2012.
It was either 2011 or 2012.
It might be 2012, I think. I think it was the same year as the Avengers. So yeah, it was 2012.
It was 2012. Well, I remember having the premiere at the cinema that I was working at.
Oh yeah, you were in Cardiff at the time.
I met Gareth Evans, the
You
filmmaker.
lucky bugger.
A really nice guy. He signed a poster for me, which I have to this very day.
Well, he's actually on board this as a producer, isn't he? He's giving it his full blessing.
Full blessing. And it's not going to be a straight shot-for-shot remake. That's
They
the
have
interesting
said
thing about
they're
it.
doing their own thing with
Sort
it.
of like a reimagining. So I assume it's still going to be in one block, essentially, and they're going to like up violence in that way as well.
Because it's not going to be set in like in an English-speaking country, isn't it? They've mentioned somewhere else they want to set it.
They have, but we've not disclosed where it's going to
Yeah.
be. So they could have quite easily just set it like in somewhere in America, just in like Chicago or somewhere.
There was a rumour years ago that the director of Expendables 3, whose name I forget offhand, was going to direct the English language remake of The Raid
that was
with the Hemsworths.
Yeah.
Because he was Australian as well. The idea was he
I would have been up
with
for
the
that,
Hemsworths.
yeah.
To which I think...
But like have one of them as a villain.
Oh, that was the idea, because you have to have one of the brothers has to be a villain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Isn't it?
I would have been up for that.
Yeah, I could see that.
That'd be good. But so that's the positive news.
That is.
But on the downside, Joe Cannon was supposed to be doing Bad Boys for Life or Bad Boys 3, and it's
not happening, is it?
No, it's not going on. He has dropped out. Apparently, he's still going ahead with the script that he has written. That script might be retooled somewhat, but
This is another one. I'll believe it when I see it.
I know, absolutely. Just the amount of talk shows that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence have been on saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
There was I read an interview about it earlier in which Will Smith said, I ran into Martin Lawrence a few months ago and we just hugged, and that's when we knew we were going to make this film. And you start thinking, no, everybody knew Martin Lawrence was going to make this film, because otherwise Martin Lawrence doesn't make films.
Yeah.
He's not allowed in films other than this one franchise and the occasional Big Mama's House sequel.
Yeah, nobody wants a Blue Streak 2.
No one's clamoring out for the R-rated Blue Streak sequel.
No, definitely not.
No.
We don't need to say a Blacker Night.
Blacker Night.
Nobody needs that.
No, or
Two Black, Two Nights.
Yeah, or more national security, or
I thought I would be up for that, because I've got a bit of a soft spot for Steve Zahn.
Really?
Yeah,
that movie's terrible.
But can you imagine if Steve Zahn wins an Oscar one day?
Yeah.
So if Steve Zahn wins an Oscar, that means that the three principal characters from the movie Sahara will all be Oscar winners.
Oh my god, that's true.
Yes.
Oh wow.
What a time to be alive!
The thing I always remember, because Steve Zahn is the sidekick in Sahara, I always in my head get him confused with Justin Bartha's sidekick from National Treasure.
Oh yeah,
because they're basically the same character.
They're pretty similar, yeah,
and they're played in exactly the same way. And now I'm just making myself want to watch National Treasure again, which is a slippery slope I need to stop going down.
Because then you have to watch them both.
Yeah, and then you watch the sequel, and then you get upset that they're not making the third one anytime soon.
So then you just have to watch Sorcerer's Apprentice to.
Yeah, and then you get upset that we never get another one of those.
That could be a franchise.
And
that
then you just remember the films Nicolas Cage is in now.
And do you know what that brings us back
upset.
to? That brings us back to Toby Kebbell. Because he's also...
He does, yes.
Yeah.
These are not the droids you're looking for. So what's Toby Kebbell doing now?
Oh, he's not. I just wanted to bring back Toby Kebbell, because I just feel like he's everywhere. I feel like he needs a better agent as well.
He really does.
Because his agent is getting him, like, things that sound really promising.
But are actually crap.
We're going to give you the co-lead in the Ben Hur remake. You're going to be the big villain in Amazing Marvel is going to be in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Nobody wants.
I feel like he gets...
And he's really great.
He gets a really good project, but... That's his life.
You get this great thing with caveats.
Yeah. So, I've got you this, but...
Yeah.
I feel like that's what his agent's sort of whole mantra is. You have this, but...
Yeah. From now on, he should just be... You're going to be Andy Serkis, but... Because of all of his mocap work.
Exactly. So basically what we're saying is he's Andy Serkis's butt.
He's Andy Serkis's butt. Andy Serkis's mocap butt.
Fair enough.
But I would love him to be in something great, and for him to be great in it. And he was really good in Monster Calls for like the brief time.
He was, wasn't he?
I think he's a really great actor.
That Black Mirror episode, he's terrific in that.
I mean, that film should happen, but have him be that character.
Get him back for it.
And have Robert Downey Jr. be the sleazy guy that his girlfriend is with.
Oh yeah, that would totally work.
Wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it really would.
Yeah, because I think he's great as that character.
Huh. Who'd have thought of that one?
Yeah, I wish I had news to tie it together for Toby Kebbell, but sadly I do not. So we'll talk about Damien Chazelle.
Yes, he's got some release dates, hasn't he?
He has.
And a sort of a space on his Oscar shelf that really needs filling.
Well, he won his best director, so I think he's seen pretty.
Yeah.
He's all right. It's Jordan Horowitz, and needs to produce something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what's Chazelle got going on?
So he announced a while ago.
J.K. Simmons?
Oh, it might. I feel like it will.
Yeah, actually.
I feel like, and I'd be fine with that, obviously.
Oh, I'm totally good with that.
I will always be up for a bit of Joke Simmons. like Joke Rowley.
You know what? I keep waiting. You know the memes that we love where it's Reese Witherspoon, Reese Without a Spoon?
Yeah.
Right. How has no one ever done J.K. Simmons, no J.K. Simmons?
Yeah.
And just have like a happy one and a sad one.
Yeah. Joke Simmons, no Joke Simmons.
Just someone add J.K. Simmons to this repertoire, please.
Just as La La Land was coming out, it was announced that he was going to be doing a film called First Man, which was about Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, Neil Armstrong, yeah.
And then it was announced that, wouldn't you know it, Ryan Gosling is going to be Neil Armstrong.
Go figure.
And the internet collectively swooned. We all just went, like that, all at the same time. But now it has a release date of October 2018.
That's not far at all.
Not far at all. Also, kind of at the start of Oscar season.
Yeah, kind of,
Would you believe it? But I mean...
when
I think Ryan Gosling will win an Oscar one day.
I'll be really honest, when I heard Damien Chazelle was going to make a Neil Armstrong movie, the first thought that crept through my mind was Tropic Thunder, when Robert Downey Jr. describes how he lost his mind whilst researching the role of Neil Armstrong, and they found him naked in a refrigerator in an alleyway, trying to leave orbit. And by the way, Kirk Lazarus. I was trying to remember the other week the name of that character. It's Kirk Lazarus.
He's a dude disguised as a dude
playing another dude. Yeah. Also, winner of the Beijing Film Festival's Crying Monkey Award.
What do you mean, you people?
Some crawfish.
He's so good in that film.
Oscar nominated.
It is something really special when you're playing a comedic role like that and get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. He didn't get that Oscar, but he does have his Crying Monkey Award.
It was Heath Ledger year that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But just on record as saying I kind of would have preferred Downey Jr. But
well, of course you would, because you would prefer to have RDJ's lightly resting upon your chin.
Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I genuinely would have Oscar nominated him for Iron Man. Not kidding. Genuinely, I think it's a great performance.
Of course you would.
If you can nominate Johnny Depp for Pirates of the Caribbean, you can sure as nominate Tony Stark. Okay, for that first Iron Man movie, maybe not for any of the sequels.
I won't disagree with that.
Yeah. Maybe not for any of the sequels, but that first one.
If you think about how he put Captain Jack together, it's pretty tremendous. It's an iconic character now.
It is.
And yes, it's based on a writer, but it's not really based on an existing character. So that was essentially built from the ground up. As opposed to Tony Stark, which is based on how many years of comic books.
Hang on. Wait. First of all, right.
Who would have thought we'd seen this movie fight?
Yeah,
Captain Jack Sparrow versus Tony Stark.
Yeah, but your argument falls apart considering the version that Robert Downey Jr. plays in a largely improvised film bears next to no resemblance whatsoever to his comic book counterpart.
That's true, but also, isn't it just RDJ being RDJ?
No, there's enough of a stamp in there. Well, okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah. I feel like that is the death knell argument for that. That is the ultimate checkmate.
Let's speak about someone who was an iconic character then, and that's Pierce Brosnan, who was, of course... Well, actually, not only was he James Bond, he was Remington Steele as well.
He was Remington Steele, and also Robinson Crusoe.
Yes, he was. And...
the Robo House from The Simpsons.
Yeah, and is it Phineas Fogg? From Around the World in 8 Days?
Yes,
he was.
And, right, I've never seen the Thomas Crown affair, but is he Thomas Crown?
He's Thomas Crown,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was someone else's affair and he was just the lead in it.
You know, they tried for years to make a sequel to that.
Yeah, they're still trying to reboot it. Someone was.
Oh no, they're rebooting it now.
Who was going to be in it?
I'm not sure.
Is it Michael B. Jordan?
Oh yes, I think that was the rumour. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah,
but that's it because they're going a different direction now. But they were trying for so long, like far past the point that anybody would have cared. It's like the Brazilian Job. It's just one of those sequels that's just never going to happen. Yeah. Like, we are never seeing the Brazilian Job. Seth Green and Jason Statham will never team up again on screen. It's not happening.
Shame.
You say that, but that movie did have that great moment when they got Kelly Brook to cameo, and so Seth Green could blow her clothes off using stereo speakers.
That's true. Because she
was in a relationship with Jason Statham at the time, yeah. And now he has Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.
They've both moved on. They've got other partners.
Yeah, but he's actually going to be a dad now, you know.
I know. That's amazing.
Do you know as well how old Jason Statham now is?
40s, somewhere.
49.
Jason Statham is almost 50.
49 years old.
My
he
word.
put out that. There's a men's fitness spread that he's done at the minute.
Yeah.
You've seen the black and white picture?
Yeah.
That was to time with him being 49.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so Jason Statham will be 50 next
Is
year.
Kelly Brook still with Billy Zane?
No,
a
I
long
think
time ago.
She's on some. I think she's on Instagram with some rugby player or
Some
something.
other guy.
Some guy.
Put a cork in it, Zane.
But that's the thing with Billy Zane. The bit of trivia that I always love about Billy Zane is that the role he plays in Titanic was intended for Rob Lowe.
Yes.
And the only reason Rob Lowe apparently didn't get it was because of a leaked sex tape.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I feel like that would have added some...
I feel like
some
that would have
extra,
aided his audition because he's such a sleazebag. Supposed to be such a sleazebag.
You know, you say that, but in my opinion, Titanic suffers from the same problem that Die Hard and the Karate Kid suffer from.
Well, I like Die Hard and Karate Kid.
Oh, no, I'm not saying the film's bad. No, it's just that,
I don't like
it's just the wrong character is the lead. I feel like Billy Zane should be the focus of Titanic because he's clearly the cooler character.
I feel like Victor Gabor should have been the focus.
Kathy Bates should have been the main character of Titanic.
She is the best thing in that film. She's amazing.
You know what amazed me, actually? I was reading a thing about Misery recently, like a retrospective on Misery.
Oh, so good.
It is. I didn't realise that Kathy Bates was basically an unknown at that point.
Yeah.
Like...
And she won an Oscar for it.
Because, obviously, throughout our lifetimes, Kathy Bates has just always been a thing.
Yeah.
But
because of that, really.
Yeah, I didn't realise that's the role that put her on the map, you dirty bird.
Just before you go on to IT, we've been talking about people who've never been nominated for Oscars.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner has been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
But I feel like...
How has he not won?
That
one mind blows me.
The number of classic films he has made...
I think
he never won an
it
Oscar?
might be because every time someone considers him, he phones up and tells them off for smoking or using polystyrene or something like that.
When you say that, it reminds me of his when he's in the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And when someone calls him whilst he's watching The Equalizer. Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Righto, Jim.
And he puts on like a fake British accent. So good. Amazing.
I love him in that movie. And thank you, because now, yet again, I want to watch The Wolf of Wall Street. I swear,
it's great.
About every fortnight now, someone reminds me of The Wolf of Wall Street, and I feel the intense desire to rewatch it.
Revisit.
And I'm not even kidding when I say The Wolf of Wall Street might genuinely be one of my favourite ever movies. It's that.
It could be up there.
That, Snowpiercer, and it's surprising how many recent films actually are making their way into my favourites ever list.
Yeah.
But,
well, you are getting on in years. You've got to reflect on what has recently just been.
It's very true. When you get to my saintly age.
Yeah. So with that in mind, IT.
So Pierce Brosnan is now an old man, you see. And, brace yourself for this case, because I promise nothing's going to prepare you for this film. Right, so the basic gist is, Pierce Brosnan is the head of a private airline. He is Mike Regan, a character whom, bizarrely, the film can never decide on the spelling of his name. So there are literally 3 different spellings of this character's surname throughout the film. Now, that tells you something about how interesting the film is, that I noticed that there are 3 different spellings of his name. Right, one day, during a big presentation for a new app, which is going to be like Uber with private planes, which incidentally actually exists, and not by Mike Regan, incidentally, during a presentation for this app, his computer crashes, and they get a temp from his tech department, from his IT department, hence the clever, clearly not a working title. They get this temp guy to come in and fix the computing, the laptop, get the presentation back on track. The day is saved, the presentation goes through, off to the SEC for compliance. Right. Then you have this clip. I'm going to finish the plot after this clip. And I'm just going to forewarn you, that bizarre-sounding voice is Pierce Brosnan.
Hey. Sorry, Mr. Regan. Hey, you're the IT guy, right?
Yeah, that's right. Ed Porter.
Yeah, Mike Regan. You really saved my ass in there today, thanks.
Yeah.
You and you?
Yeah, just a temp.
Okay, well, we'll try and fix that. Okay,
Great,
see you
thanks.
tomorrow. Hey, listen, can I ask you something? Are you doing anything over the weekend?
No, I'm pretty free.
Good, maybe you can come over to our house, have a look at our internet. My daughter's complaining about it. Would that be okay?
Not a problem.
Okay, John will give you the address tomorrow. Good night,
Ed.
Ed. Good night, good man.
He's never been that Irish, has he?
No, this is the weird thing. Pierce Brosnan is Irish. He is Irish.
Dan, I know. I know that, but he's never been this Irish.
I mean, how can you be Irish and not be capable of playing Irish? That's bizarre. How does an Irishman sound like that and think it's okay?
He sounds like someone that's never met an Irish person and then was introduced to Cole Meany and then was told to do an impression of Cole Meany.
He sounds like they did a Hot Shot sequel that specifically dealt with the IRA, and they got Pierce Brosnan to play Jerry Adams?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, from Sinn Féin.
Yeah. It sounds like that's...
Oh, that's dream casting.
Oh, well, that really is, isn't it? But, right.
It could genuinely happen.
So... The villain of this piece. Okay, so let me explain the plot then. So the temp guy goes round to Pierce Brosnan's house to fix the Wi-Fi.
Who's the temp called again?
I think he's James Freshville, I think.
James Freshville.
You probably find him on the IMDb page.
Ed Porter.
Ed Porter, yeah. Right. He goes round to Pierce Brosnan's ridiculously over-the-top smart house. It is referred to habitually as a smart house. And it's basically got iPads on every wall. And the idea is there are cameras in each iPad as well, but the cameras are deactivated for reasons of privacy. Pierce Brosnan is an old-school man who believes in the idea of privacy, yet still has this ridiculously teched-out house because ... movie. And this is actually a plot point he brings up. They have a discussion about privacy in the 21st century. Right, so tech guy goes round, fixes the Wi-Fi, meets Pierce Brosnan's, sexy teenage daughter as well, who happens to be Stephanie Scott from Insidious 3 and Gem and the Holograms. And
Gem is fresh, Gem is exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Gem is fresh, Gem is exciting. And Pierce Brosnan's sexy wife, who's played by Anna Friel, because ... attractive woman.
I like Anna Friel.
Yeah, I mean, this is a movie so gloriously chunder-headed that at one point they manhandle Anna Friel to the point of basically her underwear purely because she's an attractive woman. I mean, this genuinely is that kind of level of screenwriting. The idea is that having met Pierce Brosnan's daughter, James Freshville's character, who is portrayed as the Big Bang Theory's version of Gollum, it becomes instantly besotted with her. Friend requests her through Facebook, strikes up a bit of a friendship that Pierce Brosnan then objects to, and then decides to start electronically tormenting them. And the ways in which he does this are just fantastically ludicrous. We are expected... This movie takes place in a world in which your doctor informs you of bad news by email. So you can imagine the sort of things he pulls.
Technology.
Yeah. It is absolutely moronic. It is a film that has that antiquated idea that computer hackers exist in old abandoned Victorian apartment buildings, with the vaulted ceilings. They sit around lit entirely by neon green lights, shirtless, and in front of a bank of monitors. The explanation we're given for his abilities is that he used to do some contract work for the NSA that he can't talk about. But it's comical. Do you ever see that movie The Boy Next Door with Jennifer Lopez?
No.
Right.
I'm aware of it.
It was an awful movie, and the whole crux of it was that, she slept with the boy, the jailbait boy next door, and he turned out to be a nutter. That was the whole thing. But the movie fell apart because it was instantly obvious that he was a nutter even before she slept with him. This movie does exactly the same thing, with this guy who just looks and behaves like Gollum, with an emo haircut. If you ever saw the Dead Ringers version of Jamie Cullum years ago, it plays exactly like that. The idea that this is a sane, sentient human being to begin with is implausible. So the idea that he's then a nutter doesn't really come with much shock value. I mean, it's not the entire plot of the film, but there you go. The other thing is, Pierce Brosnan simply cannot be arsed here. Genuinely. Have you seen the poster for the film?
I have.
Right. Did you notice that on the poster, Pierce Brosnan is doing this sort of weird grimace thing with his face?
I did.
Right. That is the expression he wears throughout the entirety of this film. A film in which he simply adopts that awful accent and mumbles. And you think, you know what, I hope you were getting paid really, really well for this, because you're basically destroying any positive thing I can say about you as an actor anymore after November Man and... he did another awful thriller, didn't he? November Man, the other one, and this... I'm just about ready to give up on Pierce Brosnan. He's gone into...
Is that one with... what's her face?
He did one with Emma Thompson a couple of years ago called The Love Punch. That was good.
I enjoyed that.
That was one where Timothy Spall was like a murderous assassin.
But he kept hinting about it. It was like, this reminds me of that one mission in Puerto Rico. And that's all I'd say about it.
When Timothy Spall absolutely stole a movie from Pierce Brosnan and Emma Thompson, and you were like, what?
It was amazing. And then, the one with her from Fifth Element and Resident Evil, name escapes me right now.
Oh, is that Survivor?
Oh, yeah, Survivor.
That's the one. Yeah, Survivor. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. It's late and I'm tired. I've got a headache. I forgot what my name is.
Your case, Alan. You're an award-nominated film critic. just do that. Put a right on a little card and put it in your wallet. Anyway,
that's the caption I'm going to walk around with.
I think you should. No. It is genuinely an awful film. It perks up somewhat when Michael Nyquist enters it, but he only comes in for the third act as a sort of white hat computer hacker. But ultimately, it's one of those films that you laugh at the contrivance, you laugh at the very worn tropes, and you laugh at the cliche. And there's a lot of it in there. It's a film that just doesn't seem to take place in the real world. It just reminds you that Pierce Brosnan's well and truly gone off the rails in the time since he left the Bond role. And you come away just thinking, I hated it, but more than anything, I'm just sad. I'm sad that I've seen it. I'm sad that Pierce Brosnan's in it. I'm sad that anybody would think to put their name to it. But also, at the same time, I'm not terribly surprised to see that this comes from the director of A Good Day to Die Hard. So...
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it all comes together, doesn't it?
Did he do the Omen remake as well?
He did, yes! And Max Payne, which is a movie for which the title aptly reviews the experience of watching the film.
Yeah, I used to love the Max Payne games.
I did as well. Yeah, never quite finished the third one.
Cheers, Wahlberg.
Yeah, thanks for that, Marky Mark. You managed to you got Mila Kunis in there, and you still managed to f*** it up. I mean, honest to God, what the hell? But I'd like them to have another go at Max Payne.
Yeah, I think they could
reboot
have another shot. Yeah,
Maxia Payne,
Maxine Payne,
Payne.
We'll get a female reboot.
Starring Kristanna Loken and directed by Uwe Boll. But
hasn't he retired now?
He has
at
retired,
least semi-retired, or
he has. But yeah, I mean, I was warned that it was bad. I just did not know how much. And just
did you see this in an actual Cineplex?
Actual press show. Despite the fact that it's one of those films that's been sitting around torrent sites for years. But no, I was a good boy. I was in the press show. But I tell you, we were hysterically laughing at this thing. It is so bad. It really is just the dumbest attempt at a 90-minute schlocky direct-to-DVD thriller. And you just sit there and think, like, is it John Moore who directed Good Day to Die Hard? Because
I think so. Yeah.
It's just, like, I cannot believe this comes from someone who supposedly directs mainstream blockbusters. It is awful. I mean, it's quite obviously, it's also written by someone who clearly doesn't know how computers work, but, you know. Yeah, one of those films. So, any more news to round off?
I mean, there's a few bits, but let's talk about it next week. The trailer for Geostorm has just dropped.
Oh, was it just dropped? Because they were teasing this yesterday.
I watched the 19-second preview trailer with my wife and with one of my friends.
Yeah.
And they were like, why do you want to watch that? And I said, listen to this premise on IMDb, and I read them out the premise.
The same one we've read before. We've read it on the show.
We've read it on the show before, yeah. Where it's a man is sent into space to stop climate change.
weather control satellites.
Yeah, to stop climate change changing satellites, and also his brother's trying to stop an assassination attempt on the president's life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That in itself, of course you want to see that. Yeah. Take my money. That sounds ridiculous.
Starring Gerard Butler as a satellite engineer.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, Gerard Butler's not in that preview trailer.
That's a shame.
And I said to my friend, I've just told you about premise. Who do you think the star is? And he just went, Gerard Butler? And I was like, yes. Because who else?
Because it's such a stupid idea. Who could pull it off? Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Why not? And I'm looking forward to watching that trailer. We're going to watch it when we finish this. We're going to watch that.
He did say Gerard Butler than Nick Cage. And I feel like if Gerard Butler said no, that's who you go to.
I feel like that's a movie. If you were going to do the direct-to-DVD version, you'd hire John Cusack.
Yeah.
But I feel like John Cusack would do the direct-to-DVD version. The mid-range, the low-budget version would be Thomas Jane. And then the big-budget version is Gerard Butler. I feel like that's the spectrum we're working on here.
How is he still allowed to make films?
I don't know.
I mean, I support it. Because it just... It gives me joy.
I don't know. I mean, after London and Olympus, I'm willing
after they both fell.
I'm going to give Gerard Butler enough rope, I think, to hang himself with on this one. I do think he is a gormless but kind of enjoyable action star. I mean, he is the lowest rent one around. I mean, he's only marginally better than Scott Adkins in terms of his profile.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people don't know who Scott Adkins is.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
I think if you say to like like the average moviegoer.
A friend of mine actually looked into hiring Scott Adkins for a film he's making, and was told by his agent that he could have Scott Adkins for a film for 20 grand.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad, is it? And
let's pull our money together.
Well, you want to just hire Scott Adkins to just sit around and have tea with you?
Just for the day, yeah. What was it like on Doctor Strange for that one scene?
Yeah, you just hire him and he just follows you around for the day.
It can be my stunt double.
I will hire Scott Adkins for 20 grand if he will sit in the passenger seat of my car for an entire day and allow me to do a shot-for-shot remake of Training Day.
Oh, I'd be up for that.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Locke. So it's just...
He films it. Yeah, he films me remaking Locke.
So you're Tom Hardy, and he is... Who's
you need the concrete?
Stephen McKnight?
The concrete.
My name is Ivan Locke. I wanted some concrete.
You do the boy, yeah?
The child is not my boy. He's not my son.
Listen to me, yeah? Listen to me.
Anyway, we could be Tom Hardy, Vic Welsh any day.
Should we plug a different actor instead?
Yeah. Your moment of Cage.
Oh, hi. I'm Nicolas Cage, and this is a song for you. My favorite things. Blue jeans, see a red-haired girl. Sweet peanut butter, slow-burning candle. Cup of tea and a good book. A dance of the reindeer, and also pachinko. Yeah, pachinko. Pachinko was so young.